Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to play with some new makeup, some makeup that's new to me, and give you some mini reviews on these products here. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm a makeup artist and also esthetician, and I offer an online beauty consulting service. This is where you and I chat virtually about your beauty concerns. So the benefit of using my services versus going into a store or a Sephora is I don't work for any brand in particular. So if you ask me advice about your skincare routine or your makeup routine or makeup application, I don't really care which brand you buy. I might recommend certain products or different items for you to try out, but I don't work for any brand in particular. I work for myself. So you get my unbiased opinion about whatever beauty concerns you might have. So if you want to make an appointment, please click the link in the description box down below. So the first product we're going to talk about here is the Chanel Blurry Gray Quad. This came out I think last fall or the fall beforehand. It was a whole series of like blurry gray, blurry green. And at first I just skipped blurry gray because I thought it looked kind of boring, but I was mistaken. I think it's Abby Bliss White who convinced me to get this because it's just a really lovely cool toned slate color. I think I was confused because online some people swatched this and it looked brown, and I really wanted something more cool toned, so I went ahead and bought it and I'm not disappointed. So for the first step, I'm going into this color here and I'm going to use a big fluffy brush, and this will be our transition shade. I have to say that I am really surprised with how nice this palette is. I definitely slept on this palette here. I just didn't think it was that special, but it's really nice, and it's just that really lovely cool toned, and it's, I don't know, somewhere between a gray and a slate, and there's one shade that's a little bit warmer, but the rest are just exactly what I wanted. So as you guys are watching this on Monday, it is one day after my birthday. I am now, I guess, 33. And obviously this year, and I guess last year, a lot of people have had birthdays that are just like a little bit different. And I mean, it sucks for obvious reasons. I'm one of those people who historically likes to celebrate my birthday a lot. I usually have like a big house party. I go to brunch, I go to dinner, I make a big production, and like this year that's not happening. So I guess I will just have to make up for that next year. Now I'm going into this color up here. This is more of a matte dark gray, and I'm going to place this on the outer corner right here. So since Chanel is not releasing the spring eyeshadow palettes, it's making me think like maybe there are other products in the Chanel line that I missed out on, that I just like didn't get for whatever reason, but are still part of the permanent collection. And so maybe I can start shopping part of like the permanent collection instead of just the new releases. Because even though this palette is not technically brand new, it's new to me, and I feel like even if I get an item that's new to me and not actually new, I still get excited about it, and I'm still very happy to play around with it. I'm just taking a clean blending brush and just blending this out. I think I often have this like instinct to make eyeshadow looks much darker than they have to be. So I'm just trying to like rein in that extra gene that I have to just make everything so extra. And then I'm just taking that exact same color and I am just passing it down here on the bottom lashes. Okay, so now I'm going into this light shimmery color here, and I'm going to use one of the sponges that came with the palette, and I'm just going to pack this on the inner part of the eye that's lighter. And then I'm just going back in with that blending brush just to make sure that the light sparkly color didn't just cover up the darkness out here. Let's go ahead and just clean this up a little bit. There isn't really any fallout. There's like a little bit here. I think that's from the darker color that I used in the crease here. But other than that, there's really no fallout with this palette. Okay, so for the foundation, I have something that's relatively new and also new to me. This is the Clé de Peau Beauty Radiant Fluid Foundation Matte. So what's funny is I have two friends who over the holidays sent me this foundation. One person I knew was going to send it to me, the other person I didn't. So now I have two, and I actually have two shades here. I have the B20 Light Medium Beige and the 020 Light Medium Ochre. So swatched here, I have the light medium beige on top and the light medium ochre on bottom. So the light medium beige is definitely more cool toned, it has more pink, and the ochre shade is more golden, more yellow. So this is described as a soft matte liquid foundation that combines a radiant finish with long-term skincare benefits to smooth and refine the skin while minimizing appearance of visible pores. It's supposed to be a lightweight texture, comfortable, silky smooth, matte finish, and it has 24 shades available. So what I'll do is I will do one half of my face with the B20 Light Medium Beige and the other half with the 020 Light Medium Ochre. So I guess these count as a holiday / birthday gift. So I've been wearing these off camera and I only used half a pump for half of my face, because one pump of this product here is a lot. I think this is more of a medium coverage foundation. You can sheer it out and make it more light, but I think if you just have this reflex to use one pump, you'll find that this is really just like a medium coverage foundation, and you can actually build it up too. Now we have 020. This also has a little bit of a scent. I wouldn't say it's perfumed, it just has like some sort of fragrance. Sometimes cosmetics just have a scent, and this has that. Okay, so tell me what you think. Honestly, I think these colors are quite identical to each other. What's interesting is this side here is the shade that looked a little bit more yellow. This side here, when I was swatching it on the back of my hand, looked more rosy. But somehow on my skin, this I think looks like a hint, maybe a half or even a quarter shade darker. This one looks a little bit lighter. I think if you had no idea there was an experiment going on, you wouldn't really know the difference. I mean, tell me. I think both of these are a really good match for my skin tone, so they're really identical. I think, yeah, this one here, the 020, is just a hint lighter. So this foundation blends very easily. It's very fluid, and as I mentioned, it's definitely a medium to full coverage to me. And it also has a matte finish. I know some people said it was like a little bit luminous, and it kind of is around my cheeks and forehead, but it's also definitely a matte foundation. Like throughout the day, it's matte, but it's not drying. Like it doesn't suck the moisture out of your skin. It's a really nice velvety matte finish. And for me, this is definitely my more higher coverage foundation. It also wears really nicely throughout the day. I think it wears like impeccably for about 8 hours. I know on the website they say it can last up to 24 hours. I will not do a 24-hour wear test, but I've been wearing this off and on now for a few weeks, and I have to say it's also mask proof and mask resistant. I cannot wait for the day where my reviews no longer have to say the words mask proof or mask resistant, just saying. But yeah, it wears really nicely. It holds up throughout the day. If I'm going to compare it to a foundation, I would compare it to the Chanel Sublimage L'Essence de Teint. I would say that the Sublimage foundation is a little bit more luminous. Like, it's definitely a nice soft velvet finish, but I think this one here has that soft velvet matte finish with like a hint of luminosity, but it's more an instant thing, like as the foundation is just sort of like setting into your face. Whereas this one here, it kind of keeps that soft, very subtle glow throughout the day, but I think they're very comparable. I think the only difference is this one here is more matte. This one is just like a little bit more soft and velvety. So for the concealer, I have nothing new. I'm using my Clé de Peau concealer in the shade Almond. You know, I would like to try a new concealer just because I mean, I love this one from Clé de Peau. It's my absolute favorite, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying out a new one. It's just a little bit tricky to get the right shade because you certainly don't want to get something that's too dark for your under eye. It's like the opposite point of a concealer. Since we are playing with new makeup or makeup that's new to me, let me dive into my beautiful Chantecaille Hummingbird powder here. So this powder here is definitely worth the hype. It just gives you this soft little veil, this little blur of powder, and it does have some color to it. Someone was asking me if this is a good powder to use under your eyes. I think it is because it's not drying, but the thing is, this has a color to it. It's not completely translucent, so just depending on your skin tone, it might affect the color of your concealer. So I heard through a little birdie that Chantecaille is coming out with these again for the spring collection. And I also heard a rumor that there will be different colors this time. So if you're trying to use this for your under eye, I mean, you might want to wait and see if there's going to be maybe a lighter color, maybe different colors available in this formulation here. Just saying. Now for the blush, I'm going into my Chanel Fleurs de Printemps. This is so good, you guys. I really love this blush. It's the beautiful highlighter and blush duo. So what I do is I like to layer these. You can go either way. You can like dabble back and forth like this and then apply, or you can go into the blush first and then apply the highlighter over top. It's really up to you. I think I prefer to just like go like this and just mix it together just for the most beautiful flush. And I just play around with it. Sometimes I just swirl in here, sometimes I layer ahead, and I just go ahead and play around until I get the flush that I want. It's really pretty. It's very well loved. It's only been a few weeks, but as you can see, I quite enjoy this blush here. I wonder if I should just like go ahead and order a backup. So someone was asking me how the Fleurs de Printemps compares to the Chaîne de Chanel. Honestly, these are completely different products. The Chaîne de Chanel is definitely more plummy. It's a plum-based blush, whereas this is a beautiful peachy coral. The only similarity is in the finish. I think the Chaîne de Chanel kind of gives you the mix of blush and highlighter that this does here. It's just that with this Fleurs de Printemps, you have to mix it together to get this effect, whereas this one does it for you. That's really the only similarity. I really like the Chaîne de Chanel, but if I could only pick one, I would go with the Fleurs de Printemps, just my preference. And then let's go ahead and do a quick comparison with the Chantecaille Coral Manta Ray palette here. This is also a blush and highlighter duo. So the only similarity is that this is a blush and highlighter duo. It's in the same coral family, but I think the Chantecaille one is more orangey. It's more of an orange-based coral, and the highlighter is much more golden. So I hope those swatches helped you out. So for the mascara, I have a sample here of the Sisley So Intense No. 1 mascara in deep black. This is supposed to help your lashes look more voluminous, longer, thicker, just like better in every way. The wand looks so particular. I've never seen a wand like this before. It looks so tiny. It kind of looks like a plastic toothbrush. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it out with you guys. Okay, I have to say that I am pleasantly surprised. At first, when I saw the wand, I was like, what is this? But it actually is really great for separating the lashes and giving lots of length and also lots of curl. I feel like my lashes are about to hit my eyebrow bone, which is good. So yeah, pretty nice. So for the lips, I bought myself one of these new Bobbi Brown Crushed Shine Jelly Sticks, and I have the shade called Honey. So this is technically a lipstick, but it's very sheer and glossy and hydrating. And what's so interesting is the packaging. So you see this tube here and you're like, how do I get the product out? So you just push on one side here and then you get your product. It's so fancy. There are other colors to choose from. There's some more red and pink ones, but I wanted Honey because it's more of a nice and natural nude. This kind of reminds me of the Chanel Rouge Coco Shine, but I think the Rouge Coco Shine is more glossy, more slick, whereas this kind of just feels like nothing. It feels like a slightly glossy lip balm, but it's really light. It's also quite sheer. This is basically as dark as this color will go, and it will wear off with eating and drinking and all that, but you do get a nice little stain. I think if you go for some of the darker, more vibrant colors, the stain will be more apparent. And then to finish off our look, we always have to go in with a fragrance. So I have here a sample of the Tocca Fleurs Eau de Parfum. This is a very floral perfume. I would say it's a white floral, but also green fragrance. You get your iris, your gardenias, mixed with lots of jasmine and tuberose. I don't think this is my type of fragrance. It's just the white florals are very overpowering for me. This reminds me of Chloe, which I know is very popular, but it's just not a fragrance for me. But if you like Chloe, I think you would like Tocca Fleurs Eau de Parfum. I think this would be for you. Okay, this is the finished look. So quick little roundup, the eyeshadow. I love the palette. I wish I'd gotten it sooner, but at least now I have something new to me. It's definitely a cool toned palette. For some reason, I definitely saw swatches that made it look warm toned, which turned me off, but this is like a nice cool toned slate gray. You can go heavy and do a smoky eye, or you can go a lighter for a nice little wash of color. Highly recommend it. The Clé de Peau foundation, it is definitely a matte foundation. It's not very luminous or dewy at all, but it is a nice medium to heavier coverage foundation if you want that type of coverage. And I also think it has a nice long wearing ability throughout the day. I don't think it picks up on any texture. Like throughout the day, my biggest test is to see if this will settle into the smile lines. I didn't see it settling into any fine lines or wrinkles or things like that. But I think if you have very dry skin or very mature skin, I don't think this would be for you. I think it just depends because this is matte. So if you're looking for something to give you a bit of glow or luminosity, this isn't for you. However, we learned in a recent video that if you want to add a little bit of radiance to a foundation when it's not there, you simply have to add 1 drop of face oil to the foundation to make it a bit more luminous. So if you have this foundation and you find that it's a bit too drying, just add 1 drop of face oil. Okay, so the Bobbi Brown lipstick, I know it's technically a lipstick, but for me, it's a very tinted lip balm or lip moisturizer. It's just a really nice product for the winter when you want to throw on some color, but you also want to make sure that you're throwing on lots of moisture and hydration. I think it's a good product. And last but not least, this Sisley mascara, I was very pleasantly surprised. The wand is kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie, but it has a good like lengthening, volumizing, and also separating effect. Okay, that is it for the video. Thank you all so much for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, I talk about nothing but luxury beauty. And whenever I get new collections, I like to do several different looks. I like to use and reuse my products. So if you're looking for someone to provide lots of tutorials and inspiration on how to use up your products, I am your girl. So I recommend you subscribe to my channel. Okay guys, this is it. This is all I have for today. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you have a beautiful day and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.